You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work.
The thing you should know about this moment is that the BAFTAs were not streamed live. So they saw this happen in real time. Then when they edited together their broadcast, they decided to leave this in.
Who gave you that name, and how do you think it shaped the man you are today?
I'm a Babalawo, and my mom, when I was born, I got the name, fresh out the womb, and I just try to, live in that purpose, everyday sin.
So a Babalawo is a priest or diviner in the Yoruba religion.
God is good. God is good.
Last month, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were humiliated at the BAFTAs in London when a man in the audience screamed the N-word at them on camera. BAFTAs were pre-recorded, but they still chose to keep that moment for a worldwide broadcast, and Michael and Delroy just had to stand there and take it. Fast forward 4 weeks, and the same guy, same movie, but he's at the Oscars holding a Best Actor statue and getting a standing ovation. Do you think that's a coincidence? Well, Katt Williams doesn't think so. According to Katt, the industry higher-ups decide when to humiliate a black actor and when to elevate them. And when something feels like a setup, it probably is. And then some people online are taking it even further and claiming the whole Oscar ceremony is a ritual with occult symbolism. They're pointing out that the golden statuette looks exactly like the Egyptian god of evil, the kingdom of sinners, and the protector of the dead, Sokar. And then there's the play on words, Oscar/Sokar. But let's talk about Michael B. Jordan and how this Oscar was only given because he agreed to be humiliated publicly.
Hollywood is not really there to entertain you. Like, that's great that happens, but propaganda is something that is important to all civilizations.
So as you all know, just weeks ago, Sinners actors Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo had the word screamed at them on live television at the BAFTAs. Now the guy who screamed it has Tourette's, which became the whole media angle. And of course, Michael and Delroy couldn't say anything about him. But here's what doesn't add up. The BBC had a 2-hour delay and still let it air. A microphone was pointed at the Tourette's guy sitting 40 rows back for no reason. And this happened exactly when 2 black men were standing on that stage. Sure, everybody apologized. BBC said it was a serious mistake, BAFTA said sorry, and everyone moved on. But Michael B. Jordan had to just stand there and take it, on camera in front of the whole world. And it's interesting that he didn't comment at all on the incident. Delroy Lindo actually called out the BAFTAs and said he wished someone had reached out to them after what happened. But Michael said nothing. And then, 4 weeks later, he wins an Oscar for the same movie, his first Oscar and first nomination.
And the Oscar goes to Michael B. Jordan.
And this is the same pattern Katt Williams talked about when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars and then won an Oscar just moments later.
I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be.
Chris Rock and Will Smith both got humiliated that night, just in different ways. And then less than an hour later, Will is up there and holding his first Oscar. The slap overshadowed everything, but people forget he actually won that night. The humiliation and the elevation happened within the same broadcast. And according to Katt, this wasn't a coincidence. He said the industry needs big names to make these moments work. And when you see something that feels like a setup, it probably is. And it's the people behind the scenes who decide when to humiliate a black actor and when to elevate them.
I understand what it's worth doing when the industry is canceling one black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another. And I know what happens when they don't care about either of them. I'm saying that everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend that seems like a setup is.
And look at what happened after. Will is now banned from the Oscars for 10 years. His career took a hit, his movie Emancipation flopped, and he hasn't been the same since. But Chris Rock? His career blew up. He got a Netflix special and started selling out arenas. And Katt's point is that somebody always pays and somebody always benefits. In 2022, Will was the one who paid, and Chris was the one who benefited after being humiliated. In 2026, Michael B. Jordan had to take that humiliation at the BAFTAs so he could get that Oscar a month later. Same script, different actors.
These circumstances are not, we see them as, oh, this is live. He said something about his wife and then he got mad and jeopardized his career. And then the other guy had to decide what he was going to do with his career. And then no, we have to understand that these are two giants in our field if you're a Black person.
Correct.
This is two guys too big and too good to be involved in what they're in. These are when two large boulders come together and you can't see Chris Rock winning at all. He's humiliated. If you were going to slap a comedian, he was the #1 to slap, head of the coons, so slappable. And if you're going to slap him, you just need the greatest guy, the bestest guy, the one who's shown us him being on his best behavior since the 90s. That guy is the one that will have to slap him. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money.
But see, what Katt is talking about here didn't start with Will Smith or Michael B. Jordan. This goes back to the very first Oscar a Black person ever won. Hattie McDaniel in 1940, first Black actor to win an Oscar for Gone with the Wind. She played a maid, a stereotype, a role that made Black audiences cringe. And on that historic night, she wasn't even allowed to sit at the main table with everybody else. They made her sit at a segregated table in the back of the room.
Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science, fellow members of the motion picture industry, and honored guests. This is one of the happiest moments of my life, and I want to thank each one of you who had a part in selecting me for one of the awards.
Then you got Halle Berry in 2002. To this day, she's still the only Black woman to ever win Best Lead Actress in Oscar history. And what did she win for? Monsters Ball, playing a woman who falls in love with a white guy involved in executing her Black husband. And yes, Halle broke a barrier, but look at what the role was. And then look what happened to Monique. She won for Precious in 2010, playing an awful mother. And when she refused to campaign for free, when she didn't kiss enough rings, she got blackballed. She won the Oscar and still got pushed out.
Because if I had done something wrong contractually, they would have sued me. The reason why no one could do anything to me contractually, because they found out I did nothing wrong contractually.
Now fast forward to 2014, and Lupita Nyong'o wins Best Supporting Actress for 12 Years a Slave, playing a slave. And after she won, she said the only offers she got were for more slave roles. They wanted her to play another slave on a slave ship.
After I won that Academy Award, you think, oh, I'm gonna get lead roles here and there. Oh, Lupita, we'd like to play another movie where you're a slave, but this time you're on a slave ship. Those are the kinds of offers I was getting in the months after winning my Academy Award.
And then there's an even darker side to this humiliation ritual angle. Remember when Jennifer Hudson won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for Dreamgirls in 2007? Look at the timing. Just months before the Oscars ceremony, Jennifer's mother, brother, and nephew were murdered.
Begins for the trial of the man accused of 3 family members of singer Jennifer Hudson. William Balfour is charged with the murder of Hudson's mother, brother, and 7-year-old nephew. She's expected to be in court every day, and she's also on the 300-name list of witnesses who will testify for the opening statements, which begin on April 23rd.
And then we also have to talk about the categories they still won't give to Black creators. Can you believe that no Black person has ever won an Oscar for Best Director, Best Actress in Leading Role? Halle Berry is still alone in that category since 2002. Best Leading Actor? Only a handful in almost 100 years. And the message is clear. You can perform in their movies, you can star in their stories, but you cannot control the narrative. So when you see Michael B. Jordan holding that Oscar, it's a beautiful moment for sure. But Katt Williams would ask the question, question nobody wants to ask. What did they take from him to give it? What did he have to stand there and absorb first? The humiliation happens in London, the reward happens in Hollywood. 4 weeks apart, same movie, same man. And the machine keeps running just like it always has. But let me hear your thoughts. Is Katt right about this? I know some people hear stuff like this and think it's conspiracy theory territory. Too many coincidences and connecting dots that might not be there. And maybe that's true. But then you look at the pattern. From Hattie McDaniel sitting at a segregated table the same night she won an Oscar, to Michael B. Jordan being called the word just weeks before holding that gold statue. At some point, you gotta ask if it's really all just random. As Katt said, if it feels like a setup, it probably is. But let's hear from you. Do you believe in the humiliation ritual, or is this just how the cards fall sometimes? And if Katt's right, who do you think is really pulling the strings behind the scenes? Comment down below and stay tuned for the next video.